Hi, I'm Miss Jessica, the Youth Services Librarian here at the Walnut Creek Library. Happy Lunar New Year, and thank you for joining us for our Lunar New Year activity program. The Walnut Creek Library Foundation has partnered with the Ruth Bancroft Garden to bring 4 storytime and craft programs to you this year. For today's program, we're going to be reading The Great Race by Christopher Core, and then watching a video on how to create a kite out of a plastic bag. Don't worry, most of everything that you need, you should be able to find right there in your home. This recording will be posted to the Walnut Creek Library Foundation's YouTube page, so you can always come back to revisit the story and watch the craft tutorial. And now, are you ready to begin? Our story today is The Great Race, and it's the story of the Chinese Zodiac. And so let's look inside. Do you know that this year is the year of the ox, which incidentally, I was born in the year of the ox, so it's my year, and I'm very excited to see how it all started. You ready to read with me? Long ago, in very ancient China, there were no years or days or hours. The sun rose and fell without anyone knowing how much time had passed, as there was no way of telling. One day, the Jade Emperor realized that he did not know how old he was. We must have a way of measuring time, he thought. So he gathered all the animals in the kingdom together and said, "Tomorrow there will be a great race. The first 12 animals to cross the river will each have a year named after them." All the animals wanted to win this wonderful prize. Among the animals were the cat and the rat, who were great friends. "Let's win this race together," said the cat. "Make sure you wake me up," he added, for he often slept all day. In the morning, the rat pushed, tickled, and shouted, but it was impossible to wake that cat. So he crept out of the house and headed for the river. On his way, the rat met an ox. "Are you joining the race, rat?" asked the ox. "Ride on my back, and I will carry you across." "I will sing to you to say thanks," said the rat, and he climbed aboard. The great race had begun. The big ox swam gracefully across the river, serenaded by his new friend. But as soon as the rat saw land, he leapt from the ox and fell at the feet of the emperor. "Congratulations, clever rat," said the emperor. "The first year will be named after you, and the second year, kind ox, will belong to you." Next came the tiger. What does the tiger say? Rawr! Whose beautiful striped coat became heavy with river water, but the tiger struggled on to reach the shore. "Welcome, strong tiger," said the emperor. "The third year will be named after you." The rabbit really didn't like water. He noticed some rocks in the river and decided to hop across to keep his paws dry, until a log floated by. He jumped on, and a strong breeze blew him ashore. "The fourth year is named after the lucky rabbit," said the emperor. A magnificent dragon was the fifth to cross the river. "What kept you?" asked the emperor. "The land and the people were thirsty, so I had to make rain for them," explained the dragon. "And then I noticed a rabbit trying to cross the river, so I blew a log in his direction and guided him to shore." "Well, warm-hearted dragon," said the emperor, "the fifth year will belong to you." Next, a galloping horse making waves and splashes appeared on the shore. But just as he was shaking the water from his long mane, a snake slithered from his leg. The horse jumped back in fright, and the crafty snake claimed 6th place. "And you, fine horse, have the 7th year," said the emperor. A goat, a monkey, and a rooster decided to work together to win a place. The rooster found a wooden raft. The goat chewed weeds and grass and cleared a path for the raft to sail. The monkey found a long branch which he used to steer and pushed them to the other side. The emperor was delighted to see their fine teamwork. The 8th year will be goats, the 9th year monkeys, and the 10th roosters, he said. A dog arrived to claim 11th place. He was a strong swimmer and could have arrived earlier, but he was too busy chasing sticks and splashing in the water. The 11th year will belong to the playful dog, called the emperor. As the moon was rising in the evening sky, the emperor heard a loud squealing and screeching. It was a large pig who finally emerged from the river. "I'm so sorry I'm late, Emperor, but I found some delicious apples by the riverbank, and then I found a pool of mud, and then I fell asleep." "Be that as it may," said the emperor, "the 12th and final year will be the year of the pig." "The great race is over," said the emperor. "Let us celebrate." But just then there came a terrible howling from the reeds. It was the cat, looking wet and bedraggled and very, very cross. He saw the rat sitting with the emperor and shouted, "You were supposed to wake me, you rat! I will never forgive you." The cat was so angry that the rat fled for his life. And through the first 12 years that passed, and the 12 years after that, and all the many years leading up to this day, rats have always fled from cats. And that was the story of the Great Race and all the 12 years of the Zodiac. I'm the year of the ox, but if you don't know which year you were born in, maybe you could work with the grown-up to figure out which one you fall under. I hope you had fun reading with me today, but the fun's not over yet. It's time to learn how to do our craft. So keep watching, and I'll see you very soon. Bye!
Hi and welcome. My name is Marie. Let's make a plastic bag kite. Did you know that traditional Chinese New Year is on February 12th this year? The Chinese 12-year cycle assigns an animal and its trait to each year. 2020 was the year of the rat, and 2021 is the year of the ox. About 2,800 years ago, the first kites were flying over China. Let's celebrate the year of the ox by making a kite. I work here at the Ruth Bancroft Garden in Walnut Creek. Do we have ox plants in the garden? Yes, we do. But they're easier to spot here in the nursery. Let's look. Right here we have a whole line of Gasterias. Look at the leaves. They are also called the ox tongue plant. Do you think the leaves look like an ox tongue? To make a kite, you're gonna need a big plastic bag, could be a trash bag. You're gonna need 2 wooden dowels that are 16-inch long and have a diameter of 3/16 of an inch. You're gonna need painter's tape or something similar to tape the sail to the dowels. You're gonna need material for a tail. You can use ribbon, crepe paper, or save the plastic handle from the bag and use that as a tail. You will also need string to tie the dowels together, and you're gonna need a line so you can fly your kite. We're gonna use permanent markers to decorate our kite, and of course scissors to do some cutting. I drew the kite on a big piece of paper. Here we have the spine. Here is the crossbar, and this is the point where we're gonna tie them together. So here is the spine, and here is the crossbar. The crossbar, you are gonna make a mark on halfway, which is 8 inches. And on the spine, you're gonna measure it down 3.5 inches from the top. And that's where the two dowels are gonna intersect, and we are gonna tie them together. You can stop the video now if you want to and mark your two dowels. Okay, and now for the really fiddly part. It probably looks more difficult than it is because I had to think of the camera as well. So put your two dowels, one on top of the other. Get your string that is about 12 inches long, and then you're gonna wrap the string one way across the two dowels. You can look at this drawing that I hope is gonna make it more clear. So one way, and you do 3 wraps, and then we are gonna change direction and do the other way, also 3 wraps. It is important that you do 3 wraps both ways. That's gonna help make the cross stable. When you have finished wrapping 3 times in one direction, it is time to change your grip and wrap 3 times the other way across where the two dowels meet. You can adjust the dowels if they sort of slide a little bit so that they stay where they are supposed to be, the crossbar on that half mark and the spine 3.5 inches down. And this illustration will hopefully make it clear of what we are doing. So 3 wraps the other way. All right, so 3 wraps and pull tight. And we are gonna tie an overhand knot, pull tight and pull. There we go. And then we're gonna trim off the ends of the string. And we can put a dab of glue on the knot to prevent it from getting loose. Save the plastic ties for later, and then we're gonna cut off the sides on the plastic bag, all 4 sides. Then we are gonna throw away that side that has the stamp on it. It's not gonna look pretty. First the template, then the bag. I made a template so it's easier for you to see what I'm doing. Smooth it out, and to get a really big piece of paper to draw my template on, I actually used old Christmas paper. You can of course draw straight on the sail, but since it's so transparent, it's easy to put a picture or a photo under it and trace it. You can look online to see if you can find something you like. And remember, you don't have to draw an ox. You can draw any animal you want. Find out what year it was when you were born and draw that animal if you want to. Here is my ox. It's missing an ear because the drawing was a little bit small and I put it in the copying machine to increase the size, and it lost an ear in the process. Now I'm gonna trim off the paper because it's hiding the kite lines, and I don't want the kite ox to be missing an ear too. That would be sad. The best markers to use on plastic is some kind of permanent marker like Sharpie. That's the brand name. It doesn't have to be the brand name. There are other markers out there that work too. Start by drawing the outline of your animal. Outline is done and I can remove the drawing. Next, it's time to draw the outline of the kite, so I will know where to cut later. And when I've done that, I can remove the template. And now it's time to color. Cut along the outline of the kite. And now it's time for the kite tail. I'm going to use the plastic ties from the bag, but you can use streamers or something else. The kite tail is important because it helps stabilize the kite when it's flying. And if you, like me, didn't have one long tail, you may need to tie together smaller pieces. And since you always see kite tails with bows, I decided to cut some tiny pieces and tie them to the tail and pretend that they are bows. After this, I went out and did some test flying and realized that the tail needs to be really long. I actually ended up with a 7 feet long tail. I think that was a little bit overdoing it. I think you will do fine with a 6 feet tail. And it's time to put everything together. Take the sail and put it face down on the table, and then put the dowels on top of it. Four pieces of tape, one for each corner of the kite. I'm going to start with the top and put the tape on the side facing the table, then fold it over and tape it to the spine. And do the opposite end of the spine the same way. And then go to the crossbar. Start with one corner and then do the last corner. Flip the kite so the ox is facing you, and then attach the tail with a piece of tape to the lower part of the spine. So you can see that the light has changed. I took the kite out for a test run and made some changes to how the line was attached to the kite. This is where it gets a bit technical. So take a piece of string about 18 inches long, and this illustration shows what we will do with the string. We will attach it to the spine. One end will be attached to the top of the spine, and the other end will go below the point where we tied the two dowels together. And the technical term for this part of the kite is bridle. Push the knot all the way up towards the tape. You can trim off the excess. The bridle is going to be 11 inches. So measure out 11 inches. Make a mark with a pen. Or a pencil. And now tie the string to a point under the crossbar. We will adjust where the knot sits in a little while, and check that the 11-inch mark is on top of the knot so that the bridle actually is 11 inches, and then trim the ends. Now that knot is gonna sit 3.5 inches below the crossbar. So use a ruler or tape measurer, measure out 3.5 inches and push up the knot to that point. Almost done. You can use a piece of cardboard to wrap the line around, or do like I did. Just keep the crochet yarn as it is. Or maybe you have a kite line or a fishing line with a spool that you can use instead of this. And now tie the kite line to the bridle, make a knot and push that knot to the middle of the bridle, and we are all set. Here we are in my backyard. I'm using one hand to fly the kite and the other to film. There are a lot of trees and it wasn't very successful. I got some help so I could film, and that worked out so much better. Happy flying! Thanks for watching.